say violence to others.
Can you take my word on it if I talk with him?
No, I'm not going to confess to nothing until
I understand that. Will you take my word that I'll get you a hug?
This is Zacharie Borton. You might be wondering why this tattooed covered manly man needs a hug so bad right now. Well, he's just been through quite the ordeal. You see, he went through the traumatic experience of having to kill 3 men, stealing a car, and attempting to sell a murder weapon. And by having to kill 3 men, I don't mean he had to do it. He just did it. And he is most likely also coming down from a methamphetamine binge. If you ask me, this is exactly the type of situation that demands a hug. And Zacharie, he ain't confessing to nothing to the fuzz until he gets that hug. I mean, wouldn't you do the same? This is the case of Zacharie Borton.
Keep your hands together like this, that way those cuffs don't cut into you.
And if you want to move that and set your feet up for a hot second, go ahead. Okay? We'll be back with you in a second, okay?
Yep.
But you're not hurt?
No, I'm fine.
Can you go to the bathroom? You need water or anything right now?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll wait a little bit. Close. Zacharie.
Yeah. Hi, Zach. I'm Brian. Nice to meet you.
You guys need something, just let us know, okay?
I'm a detective from Jackson County. So I just want to talk to you a little bit, just to get your side of the story. I always know there's 2 sides to every story.
The detective introduces himself as an officer from Jackson County, Michigan. The interrogation itself is taking place in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is 2 hours away. Grand Rapids police are also interested in interrogating the suspect, as he is a wanted criminal in Grand Rapids. But the crime in question took place in Jackson County. But before we get all tangled up with place names, let's just take a step back and start at the beginning. On Sunday, August 22nd, 2021, at around 5 a.m., a woman was returning home from her friend's house, only to find her neighbor's front door open. Upon approaching the door, the woman discovered a body lying on the porch. She touched it and found it to be cold. It was a corpse. The woman unfortunately left her cell phone at her friend's house, so to call the police, she had to bravely venture forth into the home. And when she did, she found another corpse inside. She eventually found a phone inside the house and called the police. When the police arrived, they began photographing the scene. While photographing the house from the outside, one officer tripped over something in the grass. It was yet another body. A total of 3 men had been killed on the Jackson property. Neighbors were questioned, and they all pointed to one man, a Zacharie Borton, whom every neighbor described as crazy. Borton had the habit of walking around the property and shooting guns at all hours of the day and night. And he wasn't engaging in target practice either. He was simply firing randomly. All the neighbors were frightened of this man who had only moved in a month ago. A manhunt began, and police were on the lookout for a vehicle that was missing from the property, a car that had belonged to one of the murdered men. The next day, the police received a tip from an ex-coworker of Borton's, a Grand Rapids man. Borton had visited the ex-coworker, offering to sell the gun he used for the murders for $200. The ex-coworker asked if the gun had any bodies on it, to which Borton replied, "Yes, 3, maybe more." Borton also requested safe haven in the man's house. The ex-coworker noticed that Borton was likely high on meth and, frightened, He asked Borton to camp outside instead. Borton complied, and the ex-coworker contacted the police. The manhunt for Borton was refocused on the Grand Rapids area, which is where Borton was eventually found and arrested. Oddly enough, the police did not run any drug tests on Borton within the amount of time for which they would be effective, and this was the police's first mistake of many. In addition to this mistake, you'll find during the interrogation that the police simply are too submissive and trusting toward Borton.
Right, and I know that I'm only getting one side. I've obviously talked to a lot of different people today, between last night and today, and I just want to hear it from you. I do think there's a lot of explanations for why things happen, so I'm asking your permission if you just want to let me know what happened.
I have no problem telling you everything as far as anything you guys want to know, but I was also told if I came in cooperative, I'd get to see my wife and hug my wife. She was promised that as well.
Okay, so look, before I say anything to you, can I read you your Miranda rights, just to let you know your rights? And
I just wanted to state that before I said that, because once you read me my rights, if I say anything about an attorney, you guys stop talking to me, so I don't want you to have to do that. So what I'm saying is I just want the side that was already said that it was going to be taken care of by your officers, that I can see my wife and hug her, and then before, that's it for me, you know. So.
I can make any arrangements as far as hugging your wife. Is she in Jackson?
She knows, she's right here.
Okay, I can see if we can make some arrangements on that. I'll have to get Grand Rapids to cooperate in that.
They're the ones that told her that if she could get me to come in cooperatively, that they would let us hug.
Well, that sounds like that's something we can accomplish. Okay. So before I ask you anything, I do want to read your Miranda rights. Okay. Just want to let you know what your rights are.
Yeah.
What would you like me to call you?
I'm Zach. My name's Zach.
Zach work?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to call me Brian, I'd appreciate that. Okay. Zach, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to a lawyer, and have him present with you before or during any questioning. If you want a lawyer but cannot afford one will be appointed to represent you at public expense. If you waive your right to remain silent and later wish to stop answering questions, the questions will stop. If you waive your right to have a lawyer present and later change your mind, the questioning will stop until you have talked with your lawyer. Do you understand your rights? Given these rights in mind, are you agreeing with talking with me today?
Yeah, as long as I get to see my wife. I mean, I'm not going to talk.
I'll do it as long as Grand Rapids cooperates with that. I have no issue.
All right, I'm not going to talk until I hug her though, because I know how that goes. Like, I mean, she could say, you could say I can try to do whatever I can. You already got a statement.
Well, where is she at right now?
She's in Grand Rapids, not too far from here.
Okay.
We talked, so I mean, the detective, or not, I don't know if it was an officer that was sent by the detective, told her that they can make sure that we can hug and we can say bye to each other and stuff.
Can you take my word on it if I talk with him?
No, I'm not going to confess to nothing until
I understand that. Will you take my word that I'll get you a hug and get you to talk to her if I can get them to agree to it? I don't know that I can get her right this second here.
Well, I'm just saying I'm not going to, I mean, how does that work? I mean, you can say anything, I mean, but, you know what I mean? It's not, that's like we're at a standoff, because like I could say anything and then it's like, oh, well, I tried. Or they said they were going to, but this, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing that's important to me is I know my life's over.
Okay.
So I want to hug my wife goodbye. I want to give her a kiss. I want to talk to her for a minute. And they already said I could do that. Okay. That was one of the reasons I came in cooperatively. Okay. So, I mean, I just want that. And once that's fulfilled, so I know I'm not being bullshitted, because that's already been told to me. My wife's not going to lie. They said that I can hug you and see you with that.
I totally 100% believe that, and I totally will tell you that I would let you do that.
Well, I mean, I believe you would. I'm just saying, I don't think much.
Let me see if I can get that arranged.
All right, thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
You were just talking to him,
Yep.
right? I'm Detective Zabriskie. I work for the Grand Rapids Police Department.
Okay.
I understand you want to talk to a young lady. Is that correct? Which young lady?
It's Amanda. You got.
Common law wife, married wife?
No, we're married.
You're legally married?
Yes, sir.
I can tell you this. His partner and my partner, one of the guys that was already spoken to her today, is on their way there.
Okay.
Okay? But it's not like we're just going to go across the street to McDonald's. Right?
Oh, no, I know.
It's going to be a minute.
All right.
Okay? So, they're on their way.
Okay.
I'm not, they're doing anything to lie to you, right? I mean, they literally just left. And so I just text them, when they get there, they're gonna see if she's willing to come here.
All right.
Okay? That's where that's at.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, can we talk?
I mean, I'll answer a few questions that you guys know I'm not bullshitting, but I'm not gonna get a confession or tell you guys everything.
That's fine.
That's fine. And as soon as she gets here, as soon as she gets here, he'll bring her in. Even if we're no matter where we're at the questioning.
Well, I'm not gonna answer some of these questions.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I have nothing. You guys gotta realize this, and I'm just being 100. That's all I am. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys.
Sure.
I keep it shoot. I'm a straight shooter. You guys can make my life hell. You can't. Whatever. It doesn't do nothing to me right now. My life's over. You understand?
Why do you feel your life's over?
Listen, I'm not answering that question. Okay.
Okay.
I know my life's over with. So all I'm saying is there's one thing I want because I'm gonna be able to touch my wife again is to give my wife a hug and talk to her. That's all. That's the only thing that's grounded me for this whole little process I've been going through. And then I had no problem going back until a year from now and telling you every little thing I've done and didn't do. It doesn't matter. One charge or a million charges, I'm over with.
What's up?
It seems like they're still working on it. Go ahead.
Whether you guys charge me with one charge and I'm found guilty of it, or I get found guilty of 50 charges, it's the same amount of time, it's the same amount of time for me. So it makes me no difference. If it has to stealing a candy bar from Myers or to killing something, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same amount of time in prison. See what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted you guys to realize.
Got text, like I told you, says, we'll see if she wants to come in. They're on their way there now.
Okay.
So, only thing that Brian was thinking and that we were thinking is, we're going to send somebody there. They're already on their way. As soon as they get there, we'll have an answer. If she says no, what do you want me to do?
She's not going to say no.
Okay.
But if she does, then I guess she needs to tell me that I can call her.
Well, we can do it over the phone.
We can do it over the phone.
You can't hug her over the phone, but
that's right. That's the only thing that's important. You guys understand? I'm going through a thing, and my wife and I have been separated for like 9-10 months now, and we're on that verge of probably divorce. Probably gonna get divorced after this, and we haven't been on good terms. We finally start talking and stuff. And that's the only thing that's important to me. I don't care if I can confess to nothing, pull a lawyer up, and I can just go through it like that. I have no problem with that either. I'm just saying if I can benefit out of it, because to me it's one and the same. Whether I get found guilty of fucking stealing a candy bar at Myers 10 years ago or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same amount of time. I've got 15 fucking felonies. So I'm definitely, whatever I get found guilty, it doesn't matter to me if it's a murder charge or if it's a gun charge or if it's a shooting in my wife's house charge. I mean, any of that stuff. It doesn't matter to me. I don't have a problem confessing all of it because to me it's just going to get it over with faster anyway. But at the same time, I got one thing. That's my wife. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to hug her goodbye. I didn't get to kiss her goodbye yesterday, today. That's all I want to do. And make sure we're going to be all right. And that's it. And I don't care about any of the other stuff. All the other stuff's irrelevant. You know what I mean? After that, it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's all one and the same.
I get it.
I got the best lawyer in Grand Rapids, which is Frank Stanley. He's a good friend of mine. You can call him in a minute. He'll be like, shut up. Don't say nothing. I understand all of that. I'm not a dumb individual. None of that stuff. But I also got a bachelor's degree in psychology. So it's not like you guys tell me one thing and it's like convince me of it. And that's fine. And you guys might have the best intentions in the world and you didn't break your word because that's what you tried to do. But something can go wrong in the meantime, then what happens? I'll still sit call it holding back. You know what I mean? It's just not interesting.
Not arguing with anything you said. You did a lot of talking. You talked pretty fast. You had a lot of things you
I know
wanted to
there's
do.
a lot of shit going on. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm nervous. I'm apprehensive. I
appreciate it. All I can tell you is they just got here. Literally, they took time to go to the bathroom and come in here. And the minute one of those guys went out with one of our guys to go see if we could scoop her up. They're on their way. That's all I can say.
I appreciate that.
You know, like you said, like he said, like I'm telling you, I said before, it doesn't do us any good to lie to you. He's going to do his best. I'm going to do my best.
At the same time, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm just shooting it straight. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a very important thing always to me. Anytime I talk with somebody, I'll be always 100% honest with you. I'm not going to bullshit. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe it's not something you want to hear, but I'm going to be honest with you. That's all I ever ask for you is if we can do the same thing.
I respect that. I'm just saying you got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. I respect that. I'm not trying. You guys didn't do nothing to me personally, so therefore I don't have no reason to be an asshole or no reason to be. I mean, I have every reason as an American citizen to be uncooperative and let the court just do it. But it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't to me no more. I mean, I'm arrested. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison for one thing or another. You can charge me with all the charges you say you got right now. And then as time goes on, you got more charges because shit you guys don't even know about. So you can go. It's one and the same to me. You know what I mean? Like, I got 15 felonies. I'm getting charged with habitual. and it's 10 to 12 years minimum. To me, I'm 43 years old. I'll be 44. I've already did 21 years in prison. You know what I mean? Like, that's the rest of my life to me. I don't care. That's why I wasn't going to come cooperative. That's why I'm going to make you shoot me. I mean, that's not something I want to say.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
I mean, I'm glad for whoever had to shoot me. You know what I mean? That's whoever had, it's not his fault. Go home and tell his dad or his son or whatever.
You still got a family that loves you too.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that's important to me. That's what I'm saying. So I'm doing this for one purpose. You got to know one purpose and one purpose only. And that's my wife. She begged me. And she said that it would be more important to her if I didn't do that. It would be her worse. But if I did come out and just, I wasn't going to shoot y'all. You guys didn't do nothing to me. But I had to make you guys believe I did or you wouldn't shoot me. And to me, doing the rest of my life in prison or ending up dead, I'd rather be dead. I mean, just being honest. So to me, it made no difference. The only thing that stopped that from happening was my wife. So that's why that issue of me hugging her is important.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
You probably owe her a bit of gratitude,
I
right?
owe her a lot of gratitude. Sure. Yes. I mean, not really.
I
it's still determined.
Because you're
it's still to be determined. Because you know how this is gonna go. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in prison. To me, I'd rather you guys shot me. You do 21 years in prison, and you tell me you want to go back there for a day, let alone the rest of your life.
I can't say that I've done that,
Right.
so I can't.
Well, you haven't done nothing to deserve that either. You've been on the right side of the law. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that why me pity party, but that's my mentality. Just to let you guys know that's my mentality. You know what I mean? And anything I tell you guys, or I'm going to tell you guys, it's factual. You can check it. It's going to be fact. And I don't have no reason to bullshit you. Why? For what purpose? What am I going to gain? You know what I mean? I'm not. The only thing I got to gain is a hug from my wife, a kiss from my wife. That's it. It's the only thing I got.
Well, I'm hoping that she's going to agree to that. I think it sounds like she cares about you enough that it sounds like she will.
Was Counselor uncomfortable in that chair?
Yeah.
It seems silly, but that chair might be
That's right.
No, it's got a hole where the hands go.
Oh, gotcha.
See what I'm saying? Is
Oh,
that
yeah,
it?
it is. Thanks.
If you lived in small talk, again.
This interrogation is nearly 4 hours long, with roughly half of that time being small talk. Often, directed small talk can be useful for police in building rapport with the subject, but in this particular interrogation, the small talk is not intentional. It's not directed. Instead, it's just a way to keep the suspect busy while the police fetch his wife. As I listened to their small talk, I couldn't help but wonder whether the detectives could be using this time more efficiently. They could have tried to lead Borton down the road of talking about the crime, or his living situation, or his neighbors, or his issues with his wife, anything that would have been even tangentially useful for the interrogation. It would have been a smart contingency plan to extract whatever they could from Borton in the case that his wife doesn't show up to the police station, or in the case that Borton reneges on his promise to confess after seeing his wife. The detectives don't even make an attempt, however, and really just do engage in useless banter. For this reason, I'm going to skip the whole small talk section and get to the real questioning. In the future, though, I'll upload the raw interrogation footage for those interested. I must admit that it is good background noise, and I got some efficient work done while I listened. While we fast forward, however, let me bring up some information that the detective could have extracted from Borton had he asked about Borton's living situation. So, Borton fled Grand Rapids about a month prior to this incident due to being wanted by the Grand Rapids police. He moved in with two men, ages 70 and 80. What did the 70-year-old and 80-year-old men have in common with Borton, who was 42 at the time? They were all members of the Iron Coffers, an outlaw motorcycle club not unlike the Hells Angels. Borton needed a place to hide out, and so he reached out to men he knew from the club. As Borton didn't have any money for rent, his deal with the men was free board in exchange for keeping the riffraff out. Perhaps that is why Borton was seen at all times during the day walking around the property with a gun in his hand. Borton and the two men were all reportedly users of methamphetamine, and one informant, who was later placed in a cell with Borton, told the police that Borton's reason for killing the men was related to an argument about drugs. Anyway, I really just don't understand why the detectives didn't try for any information. The worst that could happen is Borton telling the detectives to back off or to shut up until his wife arrives. Thus far, Borton's lips have been pretty loose, so I just don't get what the detective's mindset is here. By the way, after about an hour of small talk, the detective runs out of topics to discuss. So Borton and the detective just sit there, staring at the wall while they wait for Borton's wife and son to arrive. Take a look at this quality detective work.
Yes, Sam. Okay. Okay. Yep, she just got here. So she's, they went down to get her, and they're bringing her out right now. Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Not ask her for any kind of particular recognition or thanks or anything. We're going to bring her in. I just want to make sure there's going to be no clouds.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay, it's not. I just want to hug my wife and hug my son.
What about on her side?
No, she's not.
Okay. You understand where I'm coming from? She's got a baby in her arms. I don't want to get into any kind of predicament in here with anybody, okay?
I get you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Go ahead, Arthur. Stand up if you want.
Sandra Ball. Hi, Papas. Hi, Papas. I can't play it. Daddy have kisses. Oh, that's a good kiss. You playing your game?
Aww.
Is that a good hug? Hi, Papas. Aww.
Yeah, Daddy.
Good daddy kisses. Thank you. Getting so big.
Yeah.
Loving our mommy. Mm-hmm. Loving our mommy. I know. Can Daddy get a little love? Can Daddy get a little love? Get big clothes. Daddy loves you. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Hello. I love you, silly guy.
Alright, guys, I hate to break it up, but we gotta do it now.
Alright. Thank you, guys.
You wanna?
Go ahead.
Bye, Papa. Bye. Bye, Bubba's.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. He's a cute little dude.
Thank you.
25 years, I've never done anything like that. All right.
Awesome.
We're men of our words, so I wish I could make it happen longer, but unfortunately we can't.
That's all I ask for. Thank you very much. I'm very appreciative of that.
He didn't want to kill two birds with one stone, so if you could send a detective in on your incident, or you guys all set?
I'll have him step in. Okay. We're just gonna escort her out, make sure she gets back to her truck safely and things like that, and then he'll pop back in here, okay? I don't know if she knows where she's at or where she's going down here, but we want to make sure that she gets in her truck and on her way, so he'll be right back.
All right, thank you.
I think your guy talked to her already, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You want to get started on our?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let me just go through this. I know we talked about it once before. Of course, I don't have my reading glasses, so this is a challenge. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you before or during questioning. If you want a lawyer but cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you to represent you at public expense. If you waive your right to remain silent and later wish to stop answering questions, the questions will stop. Just let me know. If you waive your right to have a lawyer present and later change your mind, the questioning will stop until you have talked with that lawyer. Do you understand these rights?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we okay to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what happened with the on Fishville.
Polak had been like, that's Mike. He had been high. I think he smoked crack or something. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like noised out, and he kept coming in the back bedroom where I was staying, and like waving a pistol around and saying, "Who's in here? Who are you talking to?" I know somebody's in here, and then like the second or third time, I mean, I kind of got insulted because it was more like, if I want to have somebody in, I'd have somebody in here.
Which bedroom are you talking about?
If you go in the front door, there's a bedroom, so back right by the fireplace or whatever, there's a bedroom right there to the right. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And then to the left, there's a like a, I don't know, I guess it'd be a front room, a big ass front room.
It's almost like a family room.
Yep. And then so in the bedroom right there on the right, when you first go in, that's the only other bedroom behind the main floor. And so he kept waving the pistol. He'd come in with the pistol, he wouldn't wave it, like then point it at me. Like at one point, I think like the second time he came in or something, he kind of waved it towards me. I was like, don't point a fucking pistol at me or some shit. It's just kind of like a guy's like back and forth.
You know what kind of pistol it was?
Yeah, it was 38.
Okay.
So he comes in there with that, and he's like kind of waving it around.
What was you upset about? Because you had somebody.
Well, he thought I had somebody in the room, but I didn't. And then I found out like the third time. I want to say it was the third time he came. He kept coming in there like, "Who's in here?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" Maybe 15, 20 minutes. "Who's in here?" And I'd be half asleep. And I'm like, so like the third time or something in here, he's like, "I know she's in here." I said, "Who the fuck are you talking about?" And he said, "Yeah," which is like a girl that comes there every once in a while. It's she's messing with another biker or whatever, whatever. But he's kind of like her. I don't know. He's kind of like infatuated with her, like kind of like want to look after. I don't know, like some weird thing. I don't know. He wasn't having sex with her, so I don't know. There's some weird thing. But if she stayed the night and stuff like that, sleep in the same bed and stuff. But anyways, like I know she's in here. I was like, man, turn on the fucking light and look around. Like stop doing. Like I don't know what you're doing when you're bugging out. He even said to himself, like I must be bugging out. I must be bugging out. He's looking under the bed. He's looking all through some stuff, and I'm like, bro, where's she gonna hide at? Like, come on, dude, get a grip. And then, so I heard, I don't know, it was probably 15, 20 minutes later. I hear him talk to somebody out in the front, like, well, not the front room, it wouldn't be. It'd be. You first come in the door. There's a kitchen and like a big open dining room, and I hear him talking to somebody in there, which would be like, if you open my door, you'd be able to see right out there, pretty much. So. I like opened the door and he's not talking to nobody. And I'm like, hey bro, who you out here talking to? And he was like, nothing, I thought I heard something out here. You sure there's nobody in there? And I'm like, yeah, there's nobody in there. And then he was like outside, I could hear him outside, and then so I get up to come out there with him, and I'm like, what's going on out here or whatever. And he was like, there's somebody out here, I know for a fact. I heard coughing over by the chicken coop. And so we had anyway, we go over to the left side of the porch, which if you're facing out towards the road, would be the left side would be, and that's the way like the driveway and stuff's on that side. And there's a chicken coop, and we go over there and look over there, and then both of us go, him and I both go walk around, and then we go back into the house, and I lay back down, and I thought he was going to bed, because he's like, it must be bugging out, it's getting to me or something. He was like, what did he say, something like, I must be losing my mind, or these motherfuckers, or something like that. They must think I'm losing my mind. They're not going to trick me like that, or some shit. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, never mind, just go to bed, So, I go back in and go to sleep, and, well, I don't know, half sleep, whatever. And then...
Do you know about what time it is?
When I went back in to go to sleep, or like what time when I woke up?
When all this...
And then the other girl that was there, there's two other girls that was there. About 11:30, so Amanda left her mom's house, her boyfriend's, whatever, and then after whatever, that was the room that was upstairs, a little short female, a little ugly. So I want to say she was upstairs at the time, so I was wondering if he was like talking to her and stuff. And then, so that was, I laid down the first time about probably midnight, 12:30 or something. I want to say he just like, I say he smoked a joint or something. But then I heard, so that kind of put me out, and then I woke back up to walk the grounds with him. I don't really want to know, I'll say I looked at my clock, but it was probably 2 o'clock or maybe a little bit after, somewhere in that time.
Fair enough.
That we walked like just kind of like sweeping the ground to see if like who was out there, if anybody was out there or anything like that. And then I once we figured out there was nobody out there, of course. I go back in, I don't know, it takes me probably not too long to get back to sleep because it was really late at this time. And I hear like 2 distinct gunshots downstairs. But that was after I heard a bang. I think that's what woke me up, like a, I don't know, like a bang, it wasn't a gunshot, but it was like a crash. And then I hear gunshots. I want to say 2 to 3. I want to say 2, then the third, like it was like 2 and then 3. And by that time I already had a gun. I kept it, a 40 cal.
Okay.
And I jumped out of bed with the 40 cal and cocked it. Like door entrance. And he had a 38 in his hand, and he said, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. And I thought he was talking about me. So I shot him twice or 3 times maybe.
He was coming in the door. You shot. So
Yeah, he was coming in the front door. And then he was yelling like something like motherfucker, I'll kill you. Like he was agitated for sure, and he had the pistol like drawn up. And so I shot him, and then.
So 3 times?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Having kind of fast and slow motion, like at the same time, like it was all like kind of a blur. So I shot him, and then like after I shot, it was a gun, but it wasn't. After I looked closer, I just know it wasn't a gun. He was coming out of the back, and so I turned towards him and shot him, or at him rather. I don't know if I hit him the first time because he turned. And when he turned to like kind of get away, I kind of ran back towards him. And then I don't know if he was trying to raise the gun or what he was trying to do, but I shot him again. That was the one that was in the doorway. And then but it was kind of like far. I don't know, I'm trying to make it make sense. Because it all happened like a blur, like so fast. And then I remember shooting was in his hand or whatever. And then I and then like panicking, like looking around and being like, you know, what the fuck? Oh my God, what the fuck? Now all my clothes and all that stuff were in the back room, but I didn't, like, I was just thinking like, I was gonna panic, like what the fuck? So I went to run downstairs to see what the, you know, what the gunshots or whatever was downstairs. And that kind of fucked me up. And so I was like fucked up behind that. I ran and I ran back upstairs, up, like kind of like panicking, like I don't know. And I went upstairs. She wasn't there, which kind of baffled me. And I didn't have no cover.
Who was this friend you said?
Yeah, that's the one who lives there with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have no ride or nothing, so I went back down. Keys or whatever off the table and took his truck and just like drove away. And then after I got a little ways away or whatever, I called my wife and just told her that it was, you know, just trying to talk to her and stuff. And I didn't tell her what I did. I just told her I did something bad and that I didn't know what to do and that you know, he already shot somebody. He was gonna shoot at me, or he shot at me or something like that.
When did you shoot him?
I didn't. I shot Shay. In the front door. Okay. I'm not. I mean, like I said, I wasn't there. I wasn't sure. I just know I heard a bang, but it wasn't a gun bang.
Okay.
And then I heard, so I mean, for sure two, like at least two. I want to say two and then a third, like a two and then a pause and then a third gunshot.
Do you think he knew what he was doing, or do you think he was like wigging out and thought it was someone broken?
Well, he'd been wigging out the whole. You know what I'm saying? He'd been wigging out like the whole night. He'd been like.
So you think he didn't know?
Blur, like I
sure.
didn't think. That's when I first heard the noise. You know what's going on, and then I just kind of like I seen that he was like on the steps to go down to his house. So I left right. I mean, I went right back upstairs because the side door is right there, like where they push you out to the driveway. That's the door. I went out to go check on him, and I seen like almost immediately. You know what I mean? Like I seen that he was on the steps. So I ran back upstairs to see.
So was he all the way up the top of the steps, or was he like halfway up?
I want to say like mid-step.
Okay.
I don't think he was all.
Was he conscious or?
No, he wasn't conscious. Like he had like his like face was opened up and stuff. You could tell he got like shot like close, like I don't know, like.
Borton's convoluted story ranks pretty low in terms of believability. But then again, who can tell what really goes on in a house with 3 meth heads? In short, Borton's story is that he was woken up by the sound of gunshots. When he left his room, his roommates were brandishing firearms, threatening to kill Borton. Borton reacted in self-defense, shooting both of the men dead. Borton states that he might have mistaken a pipe for a gun. In fact, police at the scene did not find any guns or pipes near either of the bodies. Whether Borton believes his own story due to being in a state of drug-induced psychosis, or whether he crafted his story to cover up his real reason for murdering his roommates, matters little. The fact is that Borton's argument of self-defense simply cannot hold up in court if neither of the men were armed.
So what did you take with you? You took his wallet?
No, that was in the car. I didn't take his wallet. The wallet billfold. The wallet billfolds like a chain kind of connector thing. So, so I guess I did take the wallet because it was on a chain to like the keys, but it's not.
But they
got like a string. Like,
they were on his person?
No. They was on the table.
On the table in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement on the table. Right.
So you took his wallet and keys.
Well, yeah, they were connected together. It was like one.
Did you use the credit card?
I used the credit card when I first got to Grand Rapids at Post Drive.
What credit card? Was it the only one that was in there?
No, there was a couple of them in there, but it was a debit card or something. I used it for gas.
Where at?
I want to say it's not Post Drive. It might have been Post Drive gas station or something. But
What's Post Drive? That's a gas station?
Well, it's the different. exit, like in Grand Rapids, you got Post Drive as the exit, you got like.
Oh, it's the drive, it's the exit.
Yeah.
What gas station?
It's like going right before you get on the highway to go farther north. Like you can't get, there's not another gas station for a while. It's before Rockford and all that. But I don't know the name of it. Sick or something.
You know how much you?
Like $45 or $46 or something like that.
In gas you put in?
Yep.
Got it. But what day was that?
No,
Yesterday.
No. Yeah, yesterday.
So did you drive straight to Grand Rapids when you left?
Yeah, I started driving aimlessly and then just like, I didn't put it on, like I just kind of gravitated towards you.
What do you think time you got to Grand Rapids, do you think?
9 o'clock probably.
Okay.
I'd say maybe 9 o'clock.
Did you pass any police officers like in the area? Were we getting in the area, or did we get there
I
quite well?
took right off. I panicked and just took, like, I was trying to get out of there. And
Did you go north out of there, or?
I went, when you turn off the driveway, you go right.
Okay.
So you go down that way, and I remember taking a left, and I honestly couldn't tell you what direction I drove after that, because I was just like befuddled. I was fucked up. I waited for a little while, and I called my wife, and she kind of grounded me a little bit.
When you got to Grand Rapids, were at 9 o'clock or so, where did you go?
Try to go to his mom's house, and she wasn't home. And I tried to go to one of our mutual friends' house, and he wasn't home.
It was Sunday, for God's sake. Where was everybody at? Church?
I was thinking the same thing. It was early too. It was 10, probably 10, because I sat there and talked to my wife for like an hour in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is after I went to Kent. Home, and then was that after or before? No, it was before.
So then when you went all those three places, nobody's home, where did you end up?
Right where you guys found me at, on 2nd Street.
Okay.
3rd Street. No. I went to a car park first on Post Drive. Parked there, but there's a lot of traffic coming in and out. So, I didn't want to stay there. So I ended up going, to.
Did you tell him what happened?
No. I just told him I needed to chill for a while. I needed to just get some sleep or somewhere peaceful. And he was like, "What's up?" And I told him I didn't want to talk about it. And he said, "Okay."
And did you tell your wife what you did?
No.
Okay. Just what'd you tell her?
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't want to get her in any trouble.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, anything to do with her at all.
You can see just how subservient this detective is and how quickly he backs off. Instead of trying to push for an answer, the detective immediately raises the pitch of his voice, attempts to find rapport with the subject by claiming that, that's fair enough, and then calms himself with spontaneous facial self-touches, a sign of anxiety that we covered in a previous video, more in depth, so check that out if you have time. These actions do nothing but let Borton know that he's in control of the interrogation. This interrogation might as well just be Borton's monologue at this point. The detective is so afraid of the possibility that Borton shuts down upon signs of pushback that he lets Borton control the entire narrative, which necessarily leads to an increased chance of lying. I mean, after all, if you're telling a story and know that nobody will call you out on any detail, you can just bullshit all day long.
I don't want to get her in any trouble, so I'm saying she did everything to try to help and try to make sure nobody else got hurt, and I didn't get hurt, so she's the reason I came in peacefully, so.
What happened to we didn't find a gun there, any other handguns?
You got both, you should have both guns by now. If they did everything they were supposed to do, and they searched what they were supposed to, you got both guns.
So you took the other gun with you?
I took 38 with me.
38, okay. 38, and then you had a 4. Where were they located?
Behind the blue couch in the.
Both of them?
Yeah, together.
Where did you get your 40 from?
I got it from a friend of mine.
Okay. Did you buy it from him?
No, he gave it to me.
Okay. The 38, that was.
He's had it since I've known him.
Okay. How long have you had the 40?
Quite a while. I had a 9 and a 40, so I had it for like, when did I get rid of the 9? Like a month ago, maybe. So,
What did you all take after the incident happened? You took the wallet, the keys,
I just took the keys and the wallet, which were chained together, and that was it.
and the 38?
The 38 I took almost right away from.
Is that after you went back and shot him the second time?
No, I didn't go back and do that. It was I shot. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? And I just like
Did you hit him? You think that last
The
time?
first two.
The first two you obviously did, but after you shoot,
she was like saying, like, he was still kind of like saying shit, like, or moaning or whatever. So, that's what made, like, I was worried about. That's why I remember the gun in his hand and worried about that. Like, he was going to try to shoot me or something. So, I shot him every time I grabbed the gun.
do you think you hit him, or
I'm not sure.
did it shut him up?
Yeah, he stopped. He stopped doing what he's doing. So,
Borton gives the prosecution another piece of evidence against his self-defense claim. The man he shot initially was still moving, but Borton saw this as a reason to shoot the man once again to ensure he was dead. Borton's claim is that the man was likely to shoot back at Borton if Borton hadn't shot another bout of bullets into the man's body. Yet, the man's body was found unarmed. In a second, Borton will admit that he made a mistake and that the man was probably holding a pipe, not a gun, which is also untrue. Nevertheless, Borton shows no remorse or regret. He even seems to think that his actions were reasonable. Even though this detective is not doing a particularly stunning job, the fact that Borton is comfortable running his mouth is working in the police's favor. As we'll see at the result of this case, this interrogation really was just a competition to see who can do the job worse. Borton as a criminal, or these detectives as police.
I'm thinking so.
How many times do you think you shot
I don't know.
What did he end up having in his hand?
It was like a pipe or something, I think.
Okay.
Like a weed pipe or something. I'm not. I just know it wasn't a gun.
Sure.
But I know he's got a 380 and he's got a revolver and he's got a couple shotguns. I mean, I knew he had guns, and that's what I was worried about. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Motherfucker, and it was like they're all brothers in the club, so it was like, you know, what did I do or what have I done or what they, I don't know. It was, I mean, no justification. I mean, but I didn't want to get shot either. So.
Did you know the old guy that lived downstairs?
No, I didn't.
So when we found him, he had a gun, like, kind of cuffed into his, we found him, he was at the top of the steps.
Oh, so we probably didn't die right away.
But he had a gun, like, it was just a little Derringer. I mean, it was small, it wouldn't have done much damage, but he had that,
No, I didn't know that. I didn't shoot him though, so.
yeah, I understand, but you were behind him, I didn't know if you saw him.
I
Did you ever know he had a gun with him?
No.
I mean, any time when you were living there?
I mean, they all had guns.
Okay.
I mean, they're all a bunch of old bikers. They all have weapons at all times, you know. And they definitely all, like, as far as I knew, everybody smoked had a gun.
How long did you stay there?
I stayed there off and on. I stayed there, at that time I'd been there a couple of days. But before I stayed there, like, a month, and then I'd stay there a couple weeks before that, just because, just kind of like on the run and just
Sure.
trying to hide out and stuff.
Got it.
Never had no problems, though.
Did they charge you rent or no?
I helped drive Riff Raff off.
Okay. What, self or were they all, because he had a separate apartment.
I think it's because. I think he.
Would he come up and party with them if they were?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they were pretty tight, all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they have a lot of traffic?
Yeah.
A lot of in and out traffic.
Yeah.
So I definitely think Paul.
Sure. I dabble in meth once in a while too. I mean, I always have. So.
Somebody had used meth recently because there was still in his bedroom. There was still some stuff. His bedroom, if you walk in, it's the first one on the left. Yeah, that's what we kind of figured. And then he had some more in a drawer. How long did the three of them live there? When he was living there when we had the big party when the people got.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
It's still his house. Yeah.
And when did the other guys move in, you know?
A long time. There was another guy that lived with a different club.
Okay.
He had that back bedroom I was talking about that I was going to be staying in.
Okay.
But that was going to stay in there too, so I don't know how that was going to work. Yeah, he was staying back there, and then this time I was gone for like 2.5, 3 weeks maybe, if that long. And he was gone when I came back, and I found it kind of confusing that, like, what happened to him, you know? Pretty cool.
What, how did you meet him? Where's your connection to him?
A friend, who knew him, like got me there because they knew I needed a place to stay, so he's like, I got the perfect place for you, it's out in the middle of nowhere, nobody bothers you out here, and it's just real cool. And, it was cool the first couple times, and I got, like the second time I stopped because it was like too much foot traffic, like too many people going in and out, and I was just like, that's just gonna get you caught up.
Sure,
Shit, you know?
sure. Who was that, the one that introduced you? He seems like a pretty decent dude. He happened to be, they were all hanging out at, like the place, north of there, right next door. He's part of
Oh, talking about the house north of there?
Yeah.
Talking about old girl's mom, dad's house.
Yeah. He's part of it. He's in their club too, or
Talking about.
It was just north of there.
Oh.
He's not part of the club. Oh, okay. He led me to believe he was.
No, he's not.
Is he full of shit?
Yeah. He
claims he. Like, well, why haven't you told us? Oh, it was so dark I couldn't see who did it.
Right.
Okay. He was kind of full of himself. And a little bit. He seemed pretty down to earth guy. Is that a pretty decent club? I mean, motorcycle clubs you hear are kind of rough, but those guys all seem pretty decent.
I mean, besides just having drug habits, I mean, that's about it. They didn't really cause no problems or have any like real beat. I mean, there's people coming out there, but it's mostly because the girls they protected, not them. You know what I mean? It's like girls that have problems with guys that come out there and they, you know, make sure the guys stay away from them or whatever.
So we did recover some rounds in each one of the individuals. We found some casings. A 38 is probably not going to eject a casing. It's typically a revolver. I'm assuming that was a revolver. So we'll be able to match up, and so especially now that we do have, they did recover a couple of guns over to your buddies. It's the both of the guns that you had there. You said they were behind a
blue, like futon, like
both of them.
Yeah,
that's where they found at least the 40, and I'm assuming they said they found 2 guns.
They were wrapped up together. So.
Okay. So anything else you can add, or anything you want to add?
I mean, not that I can think of, like right now. Like it's still like blurring in my mind now. Just trying to like replay that shit. It's just like.
I bet. And pretty much everything you told me appears to be pretty accurate. Obviously, we were in the belief, and I don't know that we're not in the belief. The ballistics would tell us that.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll tell us if your gun wasn't used, then I got to think that.
Right.
Because I would think that you probably had the 40. I don't know why you would have. I mean, I guess it's possible you could have used both guns, but it would be unusual.
Right.
Can you agree with that? How many times do you think you shot altogether?
I mean, I know I emptied the clip.
Okay. Did you reload?
No.
Okay. Did you have additional magazines?
No, I think I have the one bullet that's left in there. That was for me, and then that was it.
Okay. So your thought was you were going to at some point use that on you, that last bullet? Yeah. Well, I'm glad
you're mostly just to shoot in the air and have you guys shoot me. I'm trying to kill myself before I have enough guts to do it.
Yeah. Well, for your son's sake and your wife's sake, more importantly, your son's sake, I'm glad you didn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
Because your son will be able to see you. He'll be able to come at some point. I don't know how prison works, but obviously you do. But I would think at some point he's going to be able to come visit you.
Oh, yeah.
Do they let him when they're young?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, for his sake, he's not going to know any different initially.
Yeah.
Anything I can help you with? because like I said, I do appreciate your honesty, your cooperation. You could have made this difficult for me, you didn't, and I appreciate that.
There's going to be things you probably need as far as like little details or little questions you have. And I'm fine with all that. I already know there's no snitching, nothing. I'm not snitching on nobody myself.
You're right. There's probably going to be one or two things I didn't think to ask today. And you're cool with me coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Like I said, as long as like you guys have held up your end, like with bringing my wife in here and doing what you said, and he went and orders the pizza and all that. So I'm just a man of my word. If it's upheld on both ends of how our relationship right now is how it'll always be unless you change it. Sure. That's just the truth. Yeah. I won't ever change it because I have no reason to.
I have no reason to change it either.
And so that's just it's just. But yeah, I know you're gonna have more questions.
Let me get with my partner here real quick and see if he had any questions.
This small town detective has pretty much given up at this point and wants to pass the suspect off to the big city detective. But the timing is less than ideal, because the pizza is here.
Pizza's here. Pizza's here. Pizza's here.
Check out how the detective only smiles after he notices the triple murderer sitting next to him smile first. This detective is like that one tag-along in your group of friends who has no real emotions or thoughts of his own, only parroting those of the higher status group members. But, hey, let's give this guy a break. I mean, look how cute his smile is. Who wouldn't want this guy as his lackey?
I don't know if you guys are just taking a break.
I wondered if you wanted to pop in.
I do.
I want to see if there's some things I missed.
I'm gonna talk to you for a couple minutes and
you want me in?
Jumping around here. All right. I do have to do one thing, just like he did. I heard him do it, but by my policy, I'm going to read you yours. Okay. So I got paper everywhere. You have the right to remain silent. Any mistake can be used against you in court of law. You have the right to the presence of a lawyer before adjourning any questioning. If you wish a lawyer and cannot afford one, the court will appoint before any questions. You understand your rights? Yep. Okay. Just like we were read before, right?
Yep.
All right. My watch turned off. I'm going to be brief because I'm not, we were listening, I was listening, I've been in here talking, and you've been straight up. I got a question for you. Do you remember, you actually alluded to it earlier. You said, I shot all her windows and her slider and everything like that. Can you tell me about how that happened?
We were going through this custody thing with divorce and
Okay.
going through not divorce, but custody, a battle with it. And, when we first separated, she gave me full custody of my son. I had him for 6-8 months, something like that. And then she took him, and then when I had a warrant for, I thought I had a warrant for domestic or something, and she got a temporary order of relief, and then she wouldn't let me see him, and I hadn't seen him for 2 months. I hadn't seen my son, and so I tried to get into her glass door of her house, the back door, and then I couldn't get in, and I seen the camera in the corner, so I shot towards the floor and shot the camera out.
All right.
Or what I thought was a camera out.
What did you shoot?
A 9mm.
9mm. Yeah. And what did you use to try to get in the door?
A crowbar.
Remember where the... Nobody was hurt?
No.
Did you ever get in?
No.
Just shot the windows?
There was just that one window, yeah.
Window? Okay.
Yeah. That was after I broke it with a crowbar first, though.
Broke it with a crowbar first and shot it.
Yeah.
Is that 9mm one of the same ones that was used? Do you know where that gun is?
No, I don't know right offhand where it's at.
Okay. And, any idea?
Somewhere in Branch County.
Branch?
Yeah.
How come Branch County?
Just that's where I was messing around out there, and I gave it to one of the guys out there when I got my 40 cal.
Okay. So you traded basically.
I've had the 40 cal for a while, and I was like, want to keep this 9, let me keep this 40 cal. He said, all right.
All right. Fair enough. Can you tell me what happened? You were driving an Excursion, and Amanda had an Explorer, maybe? Tell me what happened.
It happened right around the same time. It was, she had my son, I hadn't seen him. I was pulling into a park to go smoke a blunt, roll a blunt up, and she was coming out of the park. I knew she'd be in that area usually because she exchanged kids with her other baby daddy at that time or whatever. So I used to be in that neighborhood a lot, just kind of like seeing if I could catch her or something with my son. Because we was playing mostly like snatching at that point. She didn't have a temper, she didn't have a custody order or nothing. So it's like whoever has custody of me has custody of him. If you leave him at a babysitter and I come and get him, then I got custody, which is fucked up to him, you know. But I hadn't seen him, so I seen her and I seen that the baby seat in the back, so I kind of like ran her off the road, and cause I was gonna try to get him out of the truck, steal my son back. But people started calling out and stuff, and I took off.
Did you ram the vehicles?
Yeah, I ran the vehicle.
Yeah.
So that's why I got her off the road. Was I hit the front of her vehicle and pushed her to the side.
Okay. Those are the only ones I was going to touch base on. I don't even know if they're worth it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. You know the totality. You know what the enormity of what's going on. I know you said, did you tell, I literally, the pizzas were here. Did you tell them where the guns are?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Wrapped together in a black shirt.
Yep.
I told him the car was there too, but he said you guys already knew.
We already knew the guns were too. I already knew. You'll find that he and I usually ask questions that we already know the answers to.
I mean, that's what I do too. That's what I tell them online.
Bam. Before, I'm not just going to come in here, ask 10 questions and leave. Is there anything else you feel like you want to get off your chest?
Is there any more charges? Is that 2 charges? And is that the only charges I got, I think?
No, I can tell you this. I don't know everything. I know you got some previous warrants.
Okay.
And some of them are for some of this, and I don't know everything. I honestly haven't run what all your warrants are. Okay. But I can tell you that at this point, my sergeant, me, this sergeant, kind of made a determination that the most important thing to address currently would be what happened in Jackson.
Right.
So you'll probably go to Jackson, maybe the prison, but eventually to start with the Jackson County Jail.
Right.
So what you're charged with, if you're charged with a Kent County or Grand Rapids case, we won't be able to get you in front of a judge, maybe never, maybe after a long period of time. So your charges are probably going to be more related to whatever you guys just spoke about in Jackson.
I was just asking if there's any more you want me to clear up, so I can get it out the way.
Honestly, I looked a little bit. I don't know. There might be some stuff. I think the idea of you're willing to clear some stuff up, I'm willing to work on that. I can do a little digging. What I'm willing to do, I'm going to cuff you in front for a minute, and so you can eat, because I'm not going to feed you like a baby.
Appreciate it.
But you're going to stay cuffed, and bottom line is that you're still going to stay cuffed.
I mean, I'm all right with that. If I was going to try to do something, I'd have been did it, for one, and for two, if I didn't want to come in, I wouldn't have came in. You guys would have shot me.
No, I'm not arguing with you on that, right. and I feel like I may have offended you when I said that. What I want you to understand is that we just have policies.
No, I'm saying that you're not offending me. What I'm saying is the offense that you got to keep explaining. For one, it's not your call, it's protocol probably, but for two, if your boss says keep me in the cuffs, I don't give a fuck how much pull you got. You got to keep me in the cuffs. It's not no big deal to me to be in cuffs, man. I'm in the cuffs.
We want to make it easier, though.
I appreciate
we don't want to
it.
paint you like a bird.
Right.
I appreciate it.
So what I'll do is I'll go sit tight for a minute, and I'm going to go grab some piece of pie or a couple pieces of pizza, and I'm going to grab some napkins, and I'm going to cuff you and move things around.
If there's any more that I thought I was charged with. I don't know what else I thought I was charged with, but I know the thing with the vehicle was a big deal, and I know shooting into the residence was, so I don't know if there was anything else besides that. I just wanted to clear it up.
I'm not going to lie to you, I stopped looking.
All right. Got you. It's small on a significant scale, I get it.
So there may be something else. My boss probably can tell me when I get out of here, but right now, that was what you had some questions on.
Absolutely, no problem.
So I will go grab some pizza, and I'll be back.
I'm going to sit tight.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
So far, they didn't really have any additional questions for me. The one thing that I forgot to ask you that I thought of is the keys to the...
Sit right on the refrigerator.
Okay. And we'll let them know.
Did you get credit cards there? No.
That I don't probably? Where would they be at?
I had to think on that for a minute. I was scrambling around when she said that there's.
So the keys are in the kitchen?
No, they're in the same room the guns were in, but there's a small little refrigerator, like a little mini fridge.
Okay.
So they're on top of there.
Credit card, you know, you're not certain.
I'll think of it. I just can't think of it right now. That was kind of a blur. Yeah.
Did he have like Parkinson's?
Look, sure.
Did he?
If you put a gun in his hand or a joint, he stopped shaking.
Yeah?
It was weird.
Did you ever see his little derringer he had? When I saw that, I'm like, Jesus. I did. I was getting confused.
They all had guns shaking.
What's the deal with what was the, it's kind of creepy out. You probably don't even use that muzzle loader or whatever that points at the window.
That's, they was gonna, actually it's a really expensive, sought after gun, but they were gonna have the national party. They got the national party coming up soon, and they're gonna raffle it off.
Oh, okay.
Like raffle it, because, I mean, all funds are about.
They had two of them there, right?
No, I think that was the only one.
Stand up for me. Mr. Doyle here is going to, he's going to do the, what he's going to do is, one hand's going to come on, put it on top of your head.
Right up on your head.
And then, I'll hold this arm, he's going to switch. Go ahead. You gotta be able to eat. So, we'll switch it when we're done.
And then when we leave, we'll just throw mine on.
Those are actually your documents.
Oh, perfect.
We did that. So
I was just thinking ahead.
Yep.
So you make sure they don't tighten up on you. That's your stuff there.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's anything, did your guys come up with something or anything? I mean, there's some questions that, I don't know, if you little stuff. Do you remember what you were wearing when you were down in Jackson?
Well, I mean, when that stuff happened?
Yeah.
What I got on?
Same clothes.
Same clothes?
All right. Literally, you haven't changed the whole time? Did you shower?
It was yesterday.
Okay, did you shower?
No.
You haven't showered yet?
You can take the gunpowder, you can do the gunpowder test and all that stuff.
But my question is, if the same clothes, you guys may want jail greens, and we may take the clothes, or you may want to do it down there. Okay.
We'll do it down there.
Okay. Just eat in peace and sit,
All right, thank
sit
you.
tight. We'll,
Thanks for clearing that up. I didn't think about that. You want me to rip that off, or you got it?
Oh, I got it. With the king of cuss in the front, I think I can manage.
Sure.
Dormirse en la cama, darse prisa en tu alma, un tocito en el club, no heroica.
Well, it seems like you and your wife come to terms. Seems like she's supportive of you again, which is cool.
Maybe.
It's like you've mended that fence.
I don't know. It's going to be a long process, I think. There's a lot of damage done. Well, been separated for like, maybe 10 months now.
Okay. But you're still married?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Neither one of us thought of them.
Well, it sounds like that she had some hope still. Or she wouldn't have, 10 months is a long time to not file.
Yeah.
I would guess
Both of them.
she had some hope. I'm so good with these late nights.
Getting too old, huh?
Oh, you know what? Even when I was young, I couldn't do past midnight. I usually worked the 3 to 11 shift, and I was good with that. But
That sucks. It takes your whole day.
yeah, I loved it when I was younger. We do 12 hours now. I'm obviously not on the road, but I liked the 3 to 11. It was fun.
Yeah, I thought they did 12 now, 2 to 2.
Yeah, pretty much most agencies do. Because you get every other weekend off. When I was, we got Tuesday, Wednesday off. That was our weekend. So,
Oh, okay.
You new guy gets the crappy days off. And
Works out to where you're working like, is it 12 days, at 12 every 2 weeks or something?
You work 7 days every 2 weeks.
7. Oh, okay.
So 14 every month, essentially.
So it's almost like nurses, like 12 on, 12 off.
Well, they do.
Day off, 2 days on, 2 days
You do
off.
2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 2 days. You get really Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So whatever you work one week you work 5 days. The next day you only work 2.
Oh, okay. Well, that ain't so bad.
He found the keys, but he couldn't find the credit card.
Where's that? I want to sit it right there by that, but
Could it be in the truck still?
could be. I just don't remember. Yeah, it could still be in the truck. I'm not sure right now.
Okay, fair enough.
You and your partner drove down the same car, or did it?
Yep. I drove. I don't trust anybody else to drive.
Ever been in an accident?
Oh yeah, I've been in accidents.
Oh.
Matter of fact, I worked as a desk sergeant for a while, so I didn't get out on the road much, but I was working an overtime assignment in a car, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And so I'm going down Michigan Ave, and I see a violation, so I do a U-turn in Michigan Ave, which is not unusual. You're supposed to check to make sure no one's in the other lane. I didn't check. I hit this car, or she hit me, I can't remember, but it's obviously clearly my fault. And the girl she kind of goes off on me, and I felt bad to begin with, and we go in the parking lot. Nobody was hurt. We go in there. It was probably 10 years ago. And I said, ma'am, I'm really sorry, my fault. Well, I'll be at fault in the report, and insurances, cover themselves, but your insurance can sue my insurance, so on and so forth. And she just keeps going off on me. I'm like, ma'am, I'm really sorry. And she goes, after she settled down, she goes, it's not you. And she's like, well, she said to me, you're the police. You're supposed to know how to drive. And so I said, I'm sorry. And she finally said, I just was having a bad day. She goes, I literally got my car out of the shop yesterday it was in some sort of crash. I get it, the first day out, you run into me. I'm like, other than sorry, I don't know what else to say. She kind of laughed at it at the end. But.
There's about 50 minutes more of this interview. Nothing happens. The detective occasionally tries to make small talk, but Burton's not having it. About half of the remaining time, the detective is on his phone, crushing candy or whatever. Perhaps when the detective was younger, he took his job more seriously. He certainly has brought up the when I was younger and when I started this job angle a lot. I'm guessing he just grew disillusioned with the profession over time and now treats every day as if it's like another episode in some TV series. Where it's like, what you do today doesn't matter because it's just going to be fresh tomorrow. He seems to have forgotten he's supposed to be fighting for the families of the 3 people who were killed yesterday, like literally yesterday. He'd rather play on his phone and make small talk than grill a murderer. The detective is clearly not on his A game, and it's questionable if he will ever rekindle that passion for justice that he assumedly once had. In any case, Bolton did get life in prison, so there's kind of a happy ending here. However, he was not found guilty of the third murder. The detectives really had all the time in the world to press the issue of the third killing, which he denied during the interrogation. That really was the only thing he didn't confess to. Bolton just basically just sat down and gave them everything except for this one key point. And the detectives, they just sat on their hands. Oh, you didn't do that? Okay, that's cool. Hey, you want a slice of pizza? Had Burton been a little smarter, honestly, he could have realized that he pretty much hit the jackpot upon encountering this interrogation partner, and he could have just admitted to nothing. The only reason Borton is in jail right now is his own stupidity. A case like this is, like I said earlier, it's entirely in the criminal's hands because the detectives just don't have a good game plan. It's a competition between how bad are you at your job. Are you a bad criminal? Are you a bad detective? If you're a good criminal and you're dealing with these bad detectives, you could probably get away with this shit. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate every day of your life because your life really can end entirely outside of your own plan from just some idiot on meth firing his gun randomly when he wakes up in psychosis. Make sure you're living the life you want to live because it really can all end in a flash. Steve Jobs used to ask himself something like, if today were the last day of my life, what would I do the same thing I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer was no for too many days in a row, he would change his lifestyle. So I encourage you to think about this and realize you might fucking be dead tomorrow because some fucking idiot just pulls a gun out and starts shooting randomly. It's possible these days, man. It's crazy. Anyway, I love you guys. Take care. Thank you for supporting this channel. Peace out, Wildcats.